This is a total spy grid. And this is the tech companies allowed to have unlimited data mining and sharing, but then the general public isn't allowed to. And then the EU will take control via these companies of the browser systems in live time and control what you can even type. They say it. I have extremely grave news for all of you. And I want you to understand, this is not hype, this is not hyperbole. I have a full spectrum analysis of what the EU snuck up to a vote they announced a few days ago, an early snap vote by the unelected EU bureaucracy that is happening tomorrow on Article 13 and Article 11 that were previously in the Trans-Pacific Partnership that Trump pulled out of, that the Electronic Frontier Foundation, even the mainline liberal groups admit, will end internet freedom as we know it. Paul's put out a viral video. The EU is about to destroy the internet as we know it, and no one seems to care. Well, he put that out yesterday. This is one of the top stories now. People are actually reading it, and it is horrific. Now, major universities across the world are backing this because they've already created anti-free speech zones. They are now metastasizing in Europe, the UK, and the US, and Australia. And universities are suing everywhere to restrict the First Amendment and free speech in Europe. The globalists are making their move more accelerated because people are awake to what they're doing, so they're trying to shut us up and try to grab victory from the jaws of their defeat. Now, Paul Watson's going to be joining us to talk more about this coming up at the end of this segment in just a few minutes. But I want you to understand, it's worse than he even says in his video. It's worse. This is a total spy grid. And this is the tech companies allowed to have unlimited data mining and sharing, but then the general public isn't allowed to. And then the EU will take control via these companies of the browser systems in live time and control what you can even type. They say it. You're like, well, how do they do that? Just like you can't upload copyrighted music? Well, they're going to say words that are racist or hurtful you can't upload. This is total censorship template. They're saying you can't even quote an article, which is totally protected in European law, U.S. law. They're saying that you can't share memes. It has to go through a program that decides, is it hurtful? Is it hateful? Is it copyright? Is it authorized? And then the computer will decide if it's copyright, not someone proving it in court. They are more scared of memes because machine learning, scanning it and reading it, their AI systems can't understand human humor. And so they're unable to censor memes. They admit this. They're panicking over it. And they don't know what to do because the machines don't get humor. And that's why everybody's been getting past Twitter and the algorithm censorship by being sarcastic, how they love Hillary, how they love censorship. Oh, how great it is that Muslims stab some more people. This is mainstream news. If you're tuning in on the radio, this is Motherboard. This is the LA Times. This is Metro. This is the left finally gets it because it's going to be Joe Rogan. And it's going to be other people that are popular across the board that aren't controlled by the system that are the target. But they're the people staying on the fence during all this censorship because they think, oh, it's just the libertarians, the right-wingers that are getting censored. And then they're the real target, the PewDiePies. Watch. So if we don't all rally and say no to this and champion those of us that are being censored, you're all next. Here's Paul Watson's powerful report.
They're really doing it. They're coming for the one thing that we thought was sacred. They're coming to ban the memes. Researchers at University College London have developed an algorithm that can automatically detect and censor hateful content before it's uploaded. What could possibly go wrong? Could this algorithm be abused by partisan social media giants to prevent the viral spread of memes that benefit right-of-centre political movements and candidates? They'd never do such a thing, would they? But why does this matter? Because memes can change history. As Richard Dawkins first explained, memes are like genes for information, and human evolution has been guided as much by memes as genes. Memes compete with each other for survival. Control the meme, control future human thought and behavior. This is about influence. Leftist websites like Salon, The New Yorker, and The Guardian have been bitterly complaining for years about the undue influence of meme warfare on contemporary politics. They warn that the political meme has become the centerpiece of disinformation campaigns, and the ability of memes to communicate ideology is boundless. The power of the political meme has never been greater. Now, what possible motive do you think the left could have for wanting to ban memes? Could it really be because the left can't meme? Surely not. I mean, surely they wouldn't. Yeah, it's that. The University College London study found that the most effective and widely spread memes largely originated in two places: the Donald and Paul, both of which aren't really known for their left-wing sympathies. So now we finally have solid proof, backed up by the kind of facts and logic that would even put Ben Shapiro to shame, that the left can't meme. And as we all know, if something doesn't benefit the left, the only reasonable thing to do is ban it. So you remember I mentioned that algorithm which is able to identify harmful content and prevent it from being uploaded? Guess what the EU wants to make social media companies do? Develop an algorithm that can identify harmful content and prevent it from being uploaded. Well, imagine my shock. The EU's new Article 13 copyright proposal, which will be voted on this week, would force websites to install upload filters that would automatically censor any content deemed to be a copyright violation. This is a complete misunderstanding of both fair use and transformative content. But this is the EU we're talking about, and they're not known for having a firm grasp of the sovereign interests of the individual. Google-owned YouTube and Facebook already have filters that block porn and copyrighted content before it's posted. So in effect, all this will achieve is a de facto ban on memes and a draconian crackdown on the sharing of information. You know, the entire foundation of how the internet is structured and what makes it work. The proposal would also institute a link tax, which would require users to get a license from the publisher just to include snippets from a news article like this. I literally wouldn't be allowed to display a screenshot from a news article like this without getting sued for copyright violation. Click the link in the description below to contact your MEP and tell them to vote against this absurd proposal. Because if it's implemented and used as a template for other countries outside of the EU, the internet as we know and love it is finished. In short, Article 13 will impose widespread censorship of all the content you share online, be it a parody video, a remix, a meme, a blog post, comments on Reddit, a piece of code, live streaming your gaming experience, or even a link in a tweet. Spain also wants to ban memes that are insulting to politicians. CNN doxes and harasses people for posting memes. So it's a pincer movement. On the one hand, you've got the establishment in general that doesn't understand the language of memes and is therefore frustrated that it can't control them. Then on the other hand, you've got the political left, which no longer understands humor and therefore is completely useless at creating them. At the legislative level, they're going to use copyright laws to censor memes. And at the cultural level, they're going to continue to hype the contrived moral panic of spicy memes being a new form of virulent online hate speech. Just as many left-wing websites have removed comment sections because studies prove they influence the reader more than the article itself, this is yet another attempt to rig the game and monopolize the narrative. It doesn't matter what your politics are, censorship can never be justified. And all
right, Paul spends a few more minutes really knocking it out of the park. We're going to come back with Paul Watson live from London, breaking it all down. But I want to explain. He's smart to focus in on the meme area because people get how wrong this is. But it's far bigger and far worse, and it's so insane that it makes communist Chinese censorship look like a joke. Because the browsers and the software that they're going to make ubiquitous under these laws will not even let you type things they say aren't authorized. Think about how you already can't really type cuss words with your smartphone when you're trying to send a cuss word to somebody. Well, it's beyond that. It's beyond that. It's total control, and it's run by Soros.
You know, someone very profoundly once said, many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
You're a white male! You're a white man!
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the Resistance.
We confirm suspicions at Veritas. It's not a shock to you, but to get the employee at YouTube on tape admitting that they do it? I mean, you must be a threat if they call you out by name.
It's also what happens when you listen to the radio host, Alex Jones.
As of just a short time ago, and I'm talking about when this meeting started, on Twitter, if you clicked on the hashtag NYC terrorist attack, which is, quote, trending, marked with a red button saying, quote, live, the top tweet links to an InfoWars story with the headline, Imam, I warned de Blasio about New York City terror. He was too busy bashing Trump.
I don't know what happens in somebody's mind or how dark their heart must be to say things like that.
This is a real-time example of when we talk about this information being weaponized.
But Trump doesn't challenge these lies. He actually went on Jones's show and said,
your reputation's amazing. I will not let you down. You will be very, very impressed, I hope.
He still calls Alex Jones and talks to him, and, you know, the InfoWars
conspiracy
theories.
How quickly can you act, and what's your responsibility to set the record straight so that the people who saw this know that it's fake news, and at least at some point in time it can't keep spreading like some sort of virus through the legitimate world?
That's something we're thinking about all the time, because it's a bad user experience, and we don't want to be known as a platform for that.
the Russians ran an extensive information war campaign against my campaign to influence voters in the election. They did it through false news sites. They did it through these 1,000 agents. They did it through machine learning, which, you know, kept spewing out this stuff over and over again. And they began to have some of their allies within the internet world, like InfoWars, take out pieces and began to say the most outrageous, outlandish, absurd lies you can imagine.
Google is being accused of hiding negative stories about Hillary and her campaign by changing its algorithm to bury stories like the Clinton body count story. That's according to website InfoWars.
You have RT, you have Sputnik, you have Rupley, and then I think you have them feeding other entities. InfoWars comes to mind, where those are echo chambers.
It's been widely reported that that company's been backed by the Kremlin, and they gave you 75,000 shares that you had to disclose when you went into the Obama administration.
Maybe you're looking at widely reported information from InfoWars.
No, I'm not.
But it is not
true. This is Politico. This is the New York Times. This is the Wall Street Journal.
No, it's not.
If a Google user types in Clinton body, they get car repair shop results instead of a story that talks about a list of people tied to the Clintons who have died under mysterious circumstances over the last 3 decades. Now, the latest story was the death of DNC staffer Seth Rich, who was murdered last month in an apparent robbery. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has hinted that Rich was his source, but has made no further comments about the case. That murder, we should say, remains unsolved.
The Russians, in my opinion, and based on the intel and counter-intel people I've talked to, could not have known how best to weaponize that information unless they had been guided.
All that stuff exists. You don't see it, you don't feel it if you're largely living in reality and in a mainstream media world. But it's undermining our democracy, and I think that the companies themselves, they've taken some steps. They have a lot of responsibility.
Companies like Facebook.
Like Facebook, Google, etc.
Right.
To do what they can to essentially not enhance this.
How quickly can you act, and what's your responsibility to set the record straight?
The system self-corrected. That shouldn't be the first tweet you see anymore. It should be a USA article the last time I checked.
But you saw this.
USA Today. At lunch I did, yeah. And I also saw the system correct it.
That man's a threat to this country.
They didn't call out Fox News by name. They didn't call out anyone else by name. They said, when it comes to Alex Jones, We need people to scroll and manually find him and manually have to find that video. We're not going to allow that video, if it gets 10 million views, to be on the front of the so-called news carousel.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance. It's
Alex Jones.
As the years go by, it gets harder and harder to keep up with your body's nutritional needs. With changes in diet, unnatural ingredients, and stress, you may not be able to get all the necessary nutrients, amino acids, vitamins, and minerals needed daily. That's why InfoWars Life created the powerful Vitamin Mineral Fusion formula. The new platinum standard of advanced multivitamin formulation, Vitamin Mineral Fusion uses a unique delivery system to maximize the effects and give your body the tools it needs to support your body. Using a proprietary process, we've managed to make this powerhouse formula into a delicious, concentrated drink mix that's loaded with high-quality ingredients. Perfect for a hot summer day or relaxing at home, Vitamin Mineral Fusion is loaded with 34 different essential vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and more. Start supporting your body's needs in a great-tasting, natural, and affordable drink mix with Vitamin Mineral Fusion today. Available at InfoWarsStore.com.